point. And you see this also particularly with solar rooftops. So once you get a lot of homeowners who have them, it's very much more difficult for a politician to say, this is all alternative and silly and it's not mainstream and it's never going to work and so on, because more and more people have the technology and it does work and it does reduce their bills and they expect their politicians to be on board.
What it does is it changes the mindset. This is power to the people. It is the democratization not only of energy and information, but the economy.
Mensen zijn gewoon op zoek naar nieuwe manieren om het zelf te doen. En eigenlijk zie je het begin van een nieuwe samenleving die wat kleinschalig georganiseerd is, meer op basis van vertrouwen en zelf doen.
Dit is Tegenlicht. Welkom bij de kracht van kleinschaligheid.
There's going to be a realization of how much energy costs the average family and the average business. The name of the game, and if there's anybody watching me right now, this interview, if you're a small business or a medium-sized business or a large company, whether any company survives or fails in the Netherlands or anywhere in the world in the next 25 years, during this volatile transition where the old fossil fuel and nuclear energies are getting more expensive and the new renewable energies have to become cheaper and cheaper as they scale in, whether any company succeeds or fails will not depend on their labor cost. It's going to depend on the energy cost.
Doet het eigenlijk net zo goed, want veel mensen denken dat je alleen volle zon nodig hebt, maar dat is helemaal niet waar. Ook met een beetje bewolkt weer haal je gewoon goed op. En juist als het wat kouder is, is het eigenlijk nog iets beter.
2/3 van de Nederlandse energieverzorging is in handen van buitenlandse partijen. Gaan die duurzaam investeren in Nederland? Op dit moment zien we daar heel weinig van. Dus kan die burger het zelfs in de hand nemen. Omdat een van de dingen die ons die liberalisatie wel heeft gebracht, is die vrijheid, die keuzevrijheid die we hebben. Dus als jij niet wil dat er een kolencentrale wordt gebouwd, moet je gewoon bij die bedrijven niet kopen. Zo simpel is het.
Dat is de omkering van de industriële revolutie die er tot nu toe is geweest. Die industriële revolutie heeft ervoor gezorgd dat we steeds meer afhankelijk worden van een beperkt aantal grote bedrijven die maar wereldwijd groter worden. En nu is het dus zo dat na de communicatierevolutie met energie.
Op het Deense eiland Samsø heeft al een energie.
So what you see here is the energy landscape. This is where we build and make our energy installations.
I think what we are just now on is a cusp of awareness, where the public begins to realize that energy is everything. Energy is actually what determines whether you're productive, make profit, or how much of your income is squandered. And when that happens, you're going to see a lot of people in the Netherlands are going to want their own power plant. Why would they want to be stuck in getting electricity where they have to pay a big tax on it, and then they have to rely on the price of oil and fossil fuels on world markets that shoot through the roof, or nuclear power that's too expensive? They can produce their own electricity.
Je hebt al gehoord dat we een nieuw woord hebben, hè? Panelen weer.
En wat betekent dat, panelen weer?
Nou, wat dacht je van dit, hè? Zonnepanelen weer, hè?
Na de industriële en de digitale revolutie staan we aan het begin van een nieuwe. De energierevolutie. Steeds meer mensen laden het dak van hun huis vol met zonnepanelen of kopen samen een windmolen. Om zo minder afhankelijk te worden van grote energieleveranciers. We maken onze eigen stroom en onze woonwijk wordt een energiemaatschappij. Het energieoverschot wordt verkocht en zo maakt een hele buurt winst. Zoals dat nu al op het Deense eiland Samsø gebeurt. Maar als we de energiemarkt kunnen decentraliseren, wat kunnen we dan nog meer? Waarom dan ook niet de zorg of onze verzekeringen in eigen hand nemen? De energierevolutie, het antwoord op de wereld van de multinationals en de overgang naar een ander, socialer systeem.
Vriendin belt op en zegt je, Pien, het is panelen weer. Nou, dat is heel goed. Maar je kunt ze alleen daar een beetje zien, anders moeten we even naar de buren. Dat mag ook. Ik heb het mooiste dak volgens de mannen. Nou, ik heb er 12. En dat is voor, deze maand heb ik mijn eigen energie gebruikt. Dat is toch leuk, hè? Ik heb het bijgehouden. Ik betaal per maand veel minder bij de Nuon. En de Nuon belt mij op of ik alsjeblieft terug wil. Nou, zo denk ik het niet. Want ze hebben nog nooit... Ik heb 44 jaar was ik klant. Ze doen nooit wat. En nu opeens gaan ze maar van alles aanbieden. Ja, toedeloe, dacht ik. Ik blijf lekker hier.
I've been an activist on climate and energy issues for a long time, about 20 years or so, working with a bunch of non-profits on energy policy and climate protection. When I was working at Greenpeace in the last decade, mostly in Australia and the Pacific, I realized that the time had sort of come to not just demand that we stop digging up carbon and polluting the atmosphere, but also we start driving the solutions at scale.
If you're a business owner wanting to be part of the solution, B Corps are the way to go. Social benefit corporations are an emerging business model founded on the triple bottom line of people, planet, and profit.
Sungevity, the company I helped start, just won an award from the Oakland Indie Awards for job creation in Oakland, because in a recessed city in America, a company that's grown to 270 employees is a good news story, right? And that's the story of solar the last 5 years. Again, 120,000 as of the end of 2012 employed in the solar industry. At the end of 2011, we were 100,000. So we added 20,000 jobs in 2012, this flat year, which is a remarkable number, like a double-digit growth rate in employment. Name another industry doing that in America.
Danny Kennedy and I got together and thought, what would it look like if we could transform Oakland, starting right here in Jack London Square, into this place that's known around the world for solar innovation and ingenuity. So anyone around the country or the world who has an idea for a solar startup, particularly in software or finance, that they would know we better go to this Fun Cube because that's where it's happening. The founding partner, Sungevity, is doing an incredible job helping residents go solar. So people who otherwise couldn't afford, the $20,000 to $40,000 to put up a system, with Sungevity, they can get a solar lease. So zero money down, you get the panels up, almost immediately, and then you're paying less from day one on your energy bill for the next 20 years of the lease,
Wow.
whereas the prices of fossil fuel, dirty energy, coal are just going to continue to rise and continue to destroy the planet.
Hey, welcome to the Green Idea House, a net zero energy, zero carbon showcase for sustainability. Welcome.
And we have built a net zero energy, zero carbon home, and we produce more energy than we use on an annual basis, and we're actually making money on our energy production.
So what you're looking at is the solar array. Very simple solar array. It's all PV, photovoltaic panels. So they just make electricity because our house uses almost no energy during the day. And so most of the energy that it's using is actually being pushed into the grid, and it's powering the rest of the houses on the street. The sun rides high in the sky in the summertime, and it rides low in the sky in the wintertime. And that means with just a 5-foot overhang, we can shade the building dramatically in the summertime. And then in the wintertime, that heat will penetrate the windows and actually heat the house. So that's accounting for 50 to 60% of the heating and the cooling of the house.
So we have an induction cooktop, can boil a full pot of water in 2 minutes, and it uses electromagnetic technologies. We kept off the gas line. None of our appliances are gas, so we're not burning anything, and that's why our house is considered zero carbon, because we even have an electric grill outside, so there's nothing combustible in our house.
The car's now charging. It's that simple. It's as simple as charging your cell phone. There's absolutely no maintenance on this car as well. No oil changes, no timing belts. The brakes on the vehicle are meant to last the life of the vehicle. I don't know about you, but I have no interest of going back to the pump. I have no interest in getting oil changes. It really doesn't serve me to do those things, and it doesn't serve the environment to do those things.
So what's nice to know is that there are a range of electric vehicles available now. There are smaller cars, there are mid-sized cars. I have a Toyota RAV4, which has a Tesla powertrain. It's an SUV, perfectly capable of carrying lots of things. You've got the Tesla, which is a high-end car. We've got a plug-in Toyota. We've got the Fiat. We've got a Leaf, which is a car I had for a couple of years. Fabulous car, really enjoyed it. Looks like we have a Ford. Looks like we've got a Smart Car, even a couple of other interesting cars like Kodas and Fiskars are here, so a nice range. It's just nice to see that electric vehicles are now no longer one market. They really span the spectrum of what consumers might want.
If a third of carbon emissions comes from electricity, where else is it coming from? 28% comes from transportation alone. And currently, 93% of the energy we use to power our vehicles comes from petroleum.
The average American's single greatest source of carbon footprint is going to be their car. 10,000 pounds is what the average car pumps into the atmosphere, 10,000 pounds of carbon dioxide. When you go with an electric vehicle, one of two things is going to happen. First off, electrics are inherently more efficient, and therefore, even if you get your power from the utility, it's still going to dramatically reduce the amount of carbon that you pump into the atmosphere coming from the utility instead of coming from your car. I have on my home solar, as do many electric vehicle owners. That solar cost me $12,000. It's replacing my fuel costs for my vehicle as well as my electric costs for my home. Given the displacement of the cost of fuel and the cost I otherwise would have been paying the utility for my electricity, I'm going to pay back the entirety of my solar system in 4 years, thereafter driving for free. Now that system is going to last on my house for at least 25 years, guaranteed, probably will last dramatically longer. If you take the costs that I'm saving and you look at the cost of electricity and how that goes up annually, the cost of gasoline and how that goes up annually, you do the numbers, crank them through, you'll find that it's literally hundreds of thousands of dollars that I will be saving over time in having home solar to fuel my home and, more importantly, to fuel my car.
You got the bike power, you know what I'm saying, making sure people know they are the juice, they are the power. And then we're actually providing just like fresh nutrients, you know, phytonutrients, juice, smoothies, elixirs, tonics, and hiring people from the community as well. And eventually we're bringing in as a re-entry program folks who are previously incarcerated too. So then the compost goes to local organizations that we're working with too. So we're just one of those stations. We're a product of looking at the social entrepreneurship movement. We're a product of the Green Jobs movement. We're a product of the Black Panthers. We're a product of like indigenous shamanism, all of that. When we fuel ourselves differently and give ourselves a different fuel, we actually see different possibilities. We can dream further, we can dream deeper, we can imagine things that we couldn't imagine, because what we're talking about here is shifting your vibration, right? You're actually raising your vibration, then you're able to actually remember exactly who you are. And that's exactly what we're talking about, the future energy, is actually remembering exactly who we are as human beings and actually being stewards of this earth and stewards of future communities. So the whole thing is that when you can't hear the chunks of ice, that's when you know you got a smooth smoothie. So Esso Juice right here in the building, one-stop shop to transform the whole entire planet.
With just 4 elements, a solar panel, if you use a charge controller, a battery, and if you use an inverter, you can have electricity off the grid without having been involved. You then have control of your own power, and if you got control of your own power, you got control of your life.
This is an environmental issue, it's a human issue. It's also about learning about civic engagement, leadership. The kids, when they go home and start to take action with their parents, they're leading the family.
Across the country, organizations like PowerShift, Cool the Earth, and the Alliance for Climate Education are getting students actively involved in the larger climate discussion. We met with a group of young leaders to share with them what we had learned about the climate crisis. Here's what they had to say.
I never really thought of it as like this big of a problem, but now I realize that, you know, we're doing this to our own world, and if we keep it up, then we're really gonna destroy ourselves. Some humans just don't believe in global warming. They don't believe that our planet is getting hotter. They don't believe that the ice caps are melting. And I think something really needs to show them. They need to be more aware of it. And I think that's one of the biggest problems, is that people need to believe in this thing that's happening right now.
That is the first step, realizing that we, as a humanity, have done wrong and that we need to change our ways is the first step to go. And that now, if we all realize that and work together, we can change it.
I was just thinking that if a huge meteor was gonna come and smash into Earth, all the humans would be trying really, really hard and be doing everything they could to make it stop. I don't understand why we're all not trying to make it stop.
If everybody was aware of this issue and wanted to stop it with tons of passion, then I think that would be very good for the environment and that would help. But everybody doesn't know about it and everybody's not trying their hardest to make it better. So we have to get people to try their hardest to make it better.
But I feel that everyone who lived in the past and never knew about climate change, or all the babies that throw their toys on the floor and break their plastic toys, which is a waste now because that goes in the trash, they did something bad, but did they know that they were hurting the environment? No. But if you learn it and learn that you're doing something bad and then do it again, that is when it becomes wrong.